Hi, 7th grade. This is your break video. Originally, I was going to have review on inferencing, finding evidence, but we've been doing quite a bit of that. So this video will be a little shorter. So your break work will be reduced. Instead of having two videos, you just have one. You won't have any review on inferencing and reading, but you are going to have this video that is on argumentative writing. This video is for everyone, but especially those students that got a low score. This video will have questions that ask you topic sentences, thesis statements, selecting best evidence, which is the best elaboration, questions on counter arguments, concessions, rebuttals, and so forth. I'm going to start with reviewing several essays from different classes. These are actual essays from different students. If this is your essay or if this is your essay, it doesn't matter. I just want you guys to understand that these essays did things that were good and things that could be better. Some of these essays got an M, some of these essays got an N, and you'll see which ones are which based on what I say. Yeah, so you have an interim coming up after the break. On Monday, you will not have an interim. On Tuesday, you're going to have the SR, selected response. It's shorter this time. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to have an argumentative essay that will be a graded essay. It's going to be worth more than the one that you wrote in my class. It's going to be an actual assessment. So that's why we're doing this, to prepare you for that. Okay. After the interims, we're going to be going back to history, social studies, and we're going to be finishing up the current unit. You will have a project for me on the bubonic plague. You're more than welcome to review the bubonic plague at home during the break once you finish this video, because you will be creating a project for me. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get back to that, and then we're gonna start a new unit, which is Islam, after the winter break. So let's start with this essay first. Again, there's gonna be, I think, 3 or 4 essays we're gonna review, and you'll see some of the issues that I've noticed. And if this is your essay, please pay close attention so you understand the issues that you had, and if you have an essay similar to this one. So let's start with their hook. I'm gonna be color coding these bad boys. This looks like it's their hook. Okay, imagine that you are talking to your friend in Spanish, and the principal walks in the classroom and hears you guys and comes up walking to you and says you can only talk in English. How would you feel? Now, I understand that the hook is related to learning a second language, but this is more relating to being discriminated against. So the hook doesn't work for that reason. It's, the hook is more appropriate for a question that will be like, should English be the only language allowed in schools, right? But that's not what the question is asking. The question is asking, should elementary school kids learn a second language? So for that reason, this hook doesn't work. Let's go to the overview. Overview is going to be this sentence. I'm going to color code it too. There's an ongoing argument about letting an addition of a second language teaching in elementary school. Okay, so the sentence structure, I understand what they mean by this, and I like this sentence, but it's just the way that they wrote it. There's an ongoing argument about letting an additional. Why don't they say there's an ongoing argument about adding, right? Adding an addition, the addition of a second language, of teaching a second language. It's just the word choice that you guys make. Okay, many people disagree. So I don't know if you will say many. Here you would just say some people, or on one side, or proponents disagree about a second language in elementary school. We forgot that because it costs $60,000. Now here the problem with this is that they're being too specific. I don't think that in general people are like, nope, it costs $6,000. Instead, you could be more, you could say something more like, some people argue that it's too expensive. Just say that, or it's an additional expense that the schools don't have. And think elementary school should teach a second language because if you talk to, oh no. Many people disagree about a second language because it costs $60,000 per year, and others think, and other who's the others? Supporters. And others think that elementary school should teach a second language because if you talk to a man in a language he understands, it goes in his head, and if you talk to him in his own language, it goes to his heart. I understand what they mean by this, but I don't think that's why people say you should teach a second language. I guarantee you, people are not saying that. Um, that's wrong. Let's look at their thesis statements. This is going to be the most important sentence in your paragraph. So let's make that pink. Elementary school should teach a second language because it can lead to a better job and it's easier to learn the language when you're young. Okay, I like the thesis. Thesis is decent. Um, it can help you in the long run when you're older, and teach it when the kids are young because that's when kids usually learn better or learn a second language better. So if I was giving this a grade, just the first paragraph, um, the hook is like an S minus, the overview is an S minus, and the thesis statement is like an S plus. Okay. Now let's go to their body paragraph. So again, for those of you guys I forgot, this right here should be your first topic sentence. And your first topic sentence is going to talk about why this student is arguing that students should learn. So this is going to say students or elementary school should teach more than one language because it can lead to a better job. This is a decent topic sentence. Okay. Um, this is a decent topic sentence. This is actually a good topic sentence. And then they have their source. Now, when you cite a source, cite it by number. You're gonna have numbers, so please cite it by number. According to source 3, it states, after all, what good is an employee who knows Spanish if the company is doing business in Russia and China? Okay, so problem number 1. The evidence is just out of context. It's just like they just picked this evidence, and I don't think that they know what this evidence means. This shows that if you know 2 languages, whenever you write numbers, you have to write 2 languages, that you get a better job and get paid more than people who just speak 1 language. That's not what the evidence is saying. So problem number 1 that I saw is they don't have a quote here. They have to finish their quotes. So the topic sentence will probably get like an S plus. The evidence, I understand why they picked this evidence. Like it's if you know Spanish, yeah, this evidence doesn't work. I actually don't know what they're talking about. After all, what good is an employee who knows Spanish? Um, yeah, I don't understand this. This entire thing will be an N because this doesn't make sense. Okay, another good thing about learning a new language. No, that's not what we're asking. We're not asking if it's good to learn a new language. We're not asking that. We're asking, should the elementary schools teach a second language? That's all we're asking. Another good thing about learning a new language is that it can help you get a better job later. Wait, I'm so confused because here their thesis statement is talking about jobs, right? That's this one, jobs. So the second topic sentence should be about how it's easier to learn when you're younger, right? That's what this paragraph should be, the second reason, but that's not what they do. Another good thing about learning a new language is that it can help you get a better job later, and it's easier to. Oh, another good thing about learning a language that is. I see what they did here. They're saying in addition to getting a new job later, but it doesn't look like that. The way that they wrote it is wrong. What they meant to say was in addition to getting a better job later, it is easier to learn when you're young. I see what they did here. There's a space issue here. According to source 1, so they use 2 sources, the bilingual child's comprehension of 2 languages is normal for a child the same age. However, and the child usually becomes proficient in both languages before the age of 5 years. This shows that the kids learn a new language more quickly, which means they can become fluent sooner. The bilingual child's comprehension of 2 languages is normal for a child of the same age. I don't understand the evidence. And this explanation is just super weak. Let's look at their kind of argument. Some may argue that elementary schools should not teach a second language because language teachers don't come cheap and they require salaries and benefits amounting to about 60,000. Instead of saying that, you could just say something like, some may argue that the elementary school should not teach a second language because it's too expensive. Right? Again, you're being too specific. That's a fair point because most schools can't afford paying a teacher $60,000 a year. However, student learning a second language helps them with other subjects. No, absolutely not. This does not respond to this. Your rebuttal must respond to the counterclaim. This student said, some may argue that it's too expensive to pay. And they're like, yeah, that's a fair point, but this is not responding to it at all. It's not responding to it at all. If you don't respond to it and weaken it, it's like you didn't do it. According to source 4, it states, it's been well established by researchers that second language learning improves. No, this whole paragraph doesn't work. You did not respond to it. In conclusion, elementary schools should provide a second language program because students can. Why is this capitalized? Why is this capitalized? Why is that capitalized? Can get a better job and easier to learn the second when you're younger. Why is there no space here? Guys, we're in 7th grade. This should not be happening. With elementary schools, why is elementary capitalized? Schools provide a second language program and help students. So there's a lot of issues with this essay, right? They do have 5 paragraphs, which is great. They have a thesis statement, which is great. Their topic sentence here is fine. Their second topic sentence, this is not good because it looks like they're arguing for the job again. Their counter argument is not good. They never address it. This is if this person got a 1, 1, 1. A 1 for focus organization because of the issues with the hook, the overview, topic sentences. They got a 1 for evidence. There's a lot of issues with the evidence because it's not supporting the thesis statements, and a 1 for punctuation and grammar. It's almost a 0 because there's just a lot of issues here. Okay, so this essay, the student needs a lot of work, and I hope that they understand the mistakes they made. Let's look at the next one. Student 2, did you know that in 2007, 2008, only 14 doctorates were awarded in foreign language education? Okay. In the US, second language have been encouraged since birth. Who said that? Where did that come from? Foreign languages aren't cheap, which is why they're rare. Students prefer to learn more languages, Spanish, French, English, German, rather than foreign languages. I'm so confused by this whole paragraph. The hook is fine. The overview, it's just talking about second languages. Just because you talk about a topic doesn't mean that it's accurate. And they have no thesis statements. There is no thesis statements. I want you to understand that. This person does not have a thesis statement. They're not arguing for anything in the thesis because there's no thesis statements. Students prefer to learn more languages. The question was asking, should a second language be added to the local elementary school? Should it be taught in the local elementary school? And this person did not answer that. And as a result, this is an F, an N from the start. Like I stopped. But let's see what their thesis statement will be based on their topic sentences. Students should learn a second language because they're easy to learn. This means they are. They are easy to learn. So why is that not in the thesis? In source 1, it states, also if children already know how to in one language, they can use many of their same skills to learn other languages. This means if you can read in one language, it makes, why is there no space here? It makes learning a second language impossibly really? Impossibly? Since almost all Earth's populations can read, that's wrong. That's wrong. I don't know where this person is getting this information from. That is wrong. It is easier to learn more language from most of the Earth's population. This student is literally just creating knowledge on the spot. Like this is wrong. In addition to being so easy. It's not so easy, really. Maybe for young kids it is. Students enjoy learning new languages. In source, so this person is arguing that we should teach a second language when kids are young or at elementary school because it is easy for them and they enjoy it. I'm not sure why that doesn't appear here. In source 4, teachers shows that since my foreign language class isn't required, students attend at their free will. This means that since foreign language classes require, students attend at their free will. You literally just repeated the evidence. If this continues, people could vouch for making a second language class required. No, I expect better from these students. I really do. I expect better from this student too. I expect better from everyone. Um, Critics argue the second language are a waste of time. Why would they say that? Why do they say that? This person didn't talk about that. This is a valid point, since students might prefer more time to work on core subjects like math and English. Why is English not capitalized? However, this claim is weakened because learning a second language improves your ACA decimal apprehension. This evidence, what evidence? Where did you get that evidence from? This evidence shows that statistically students are pushed to apply themselves. No, no, this whole paragraph doesn't work. There's no evidence. You're not arguing against this. You need to argue against that. I mean, this isn't and from the start. This is a 1-1-1. Again, a 1-1-1. This essay, believe it or not, is better than this essay. Now, that doesn't mean that this essay is good. It just means this essay is really not good. And I expect better. I really, really do. It's unacceptable that we did this. This probably took this person 20 minutes to do, and it's not okay. Let's look at student UCSC. Imagine this: your child has been going to a local elementary school near your home and can now speak to other people from across the world in a different language. I like that hook. There is an ongoing debate about whether or not elementary schools should incorporate teaching a second language to children. Some people believe that elementary schools should teach a second language because it allows for children to communicate to more people. Others argue that elementary schools should not teach a second language because it may cause communication and language problems within children. Elementary schools should teach a second language because it allows students to communicate with more people and develop better creativity and problem-solving skills. This is a great paragraph. And I hope that the person that wrote this, or if you wrote something similar or this, you understand what makes this better. They have a good hook. They talk about what the issue is, and they have a clear claim. That's it. Elementary school should educate students about another language because it allows. Here, the topic sentence: educate students about another language or teach students another language. You have to be careful with that. Elementary schools should educate students about another language because it allows them to communicate with more people. Okay, the topic sentence is a little. I think that it could be better written. I think it's teaching them the language, not about the language, which is a different thing. Studies show that bilingual children are capable of communicating to people of a different culture. This is great context. This is context. They introduce context about the evidence. According to source 1, make this a little smaller. According to source 1, good job citing, the best time to learn a language by eBay Perkin states people who speak 2 languages are able to communicate to more people in better ways than those who only speak 1. Now, the problem I have with this evidence and this topic sentence is that it's kind of the same thing, right? I would change the topic sentence or find better evidence. This evidence demonstrates that students are able to communicate to other people from different parts of the world. So again, why is this important, right? Always bring it back to why is this important. More clearly, if they know multiple languages. Students who can speak more than one language will have less language barriers, allowing them to communicate to more people in the future without any problems. If students are able to communicate with more people, their message can be expressed clearly through multiple cultures. If students, this person keeps saying if students could not speak another language, so don't do this. Don't ever do the opposite. They cannot communicate with people from different cultures in other parts of the world, causing messages to be unclear. There will be no connection with those people, making a student feel disconnected and communicate less. So their first paragraph is like an M. Their first body paragraph, this is like an S, I think. It's not the strongest. Um, yeah. In addition to students being able to communicate with more people, so I like this transition. Students are also able to develop a better creativity and problem solving skills. An interview that has been conducted by, so they use source one here. An interview that has been conducted by Sarah O'Neill and someone named Abir has explained that while learning a language helps with the areas of your life. From the interview in source 4, Abir states, in ways we don't fully understand, language learning helps with creativity and problem solving. I like this. I really like this evidence. It exercises your brain more. This evidence illustrates that if students are aren't learning a language, their cognitive abilities such as creativity and problem solving skills improve and strengthen. Students who are learning another language are always exercising their brains, as learning a new language requires tremendous amount of hard work and brain power. This process of always thinking with your brain leads to better critical thinking skills. Thinking, which boosts your ability to solve problems and be creative. If students aren't always, if the student keeps going back to the if not, challenging themselves with hard subjects and thinking through problems, their cognitive abilities won't improve drastically. Again, so go back to the thesis statement. Why should we teach this in elementary school? Why should language be? So always bring it back to the thesis statement. You have to thread that argument throughout your essay, right? This person is not doing that. You have to thread it. Why then? Why should we have this in elementary school? Some people may argue that learning another language in elementary school may cause a delay in their language and communication skills. This is a great kind of argument. Some people do argue that teaching kids two languages, it's going to impact their ability to learn both languages. If you only do one language, maybe they'll do that really well. If you do two languages, then that might impact the original language. For example, if you are a native English speaker, right? When you go to school, you're learning how to read and write in English. And then if you introduce Spanish in there, then you are also learning Spanish, which might impact the ability to learn English as well. That's what some people argue. That's what this is saying. This is a fair point because a child may get confused with learning two different languages at the same time. However, a child who is learning two languages at the same time still meets the same language development milestones as a child who's only learning one language at similar rates. Based on source 1, The Best Time to Learn a Language by E.B. Perkins, I really like how this person cites their sources. It states, research suggests that mono means one, and bilingual children meet major language development milestones at similar rates. So there's evidence that shows that if you're learning one language or two languages, you are learning at the same rate. This evidence supports that bilingual children do not have any language delay or problems when compared to monolingual children. Bilingual children meet the same language standards and milestones as monolingual children. But bilingual children get the extra benefit of speaking more than one language. They can speak perfectly fine without any errors or problem, just like monolingual children. This is an M kind of argument. This is a solid kind of argument. In conclusion, elementary school should educate children about new language because students are able to have conversations with more people from different cultures, and that improves their cognitive skills such as creativity and problem solving. This evidence and research clearly shows that students are able to communicate more effectively and clearly in more ways and improve their cognitive abilities such as creativity and problem solving. So here they're just restating their thesis statement, exercising their brain through learning another language. If elementary school starts to incorporate teaching a second language, students will be positively affected. Teaching a second language in elementary school will continue to make students better life and for the future of the world. This person probably got like an S plus, I believe. Maybe an M. The only problem is this paragraph. That's really the only issue. Okay. Here's another student from UCSC. Did you know that 200 million students in China are studying English? That's a good hook. There's a massive debate on whether elementary school should teach a second language. Some people believe that teaching a second language in elementary school will cause a temporary delay in learning, both learning both of them or both languages, while others believe that They actually don't. They actually don't what, and can even meet major language development milestones. I don't like this sentence. Actually, don't what? Don't delay or delay? I don't know. Schools should teach a second language in elementary school because it helps them in school and benefits them in the future. Um, when we say them, we don't know who you're talking about. So this paragraph will probably be like an S. The hook is good, the overview is not, and the thesis is mid, like in the middle, because of this word. So this person's arguing that, yeah, we should teach it because it helps students in school and also in their future. Elementary school should teach a second language because it helps them perform academically better. You keep saying them, students, right? According to source 4 interview, and Abadir said, but students who learn a second language also tend to perform better and have higher test scores in subjects like math. This is a great piece of evidence in social studies. This means that learning a second language will make students think harder, remember things better, and pay more attention. How though? How? With this, they can understand with their other school subjects a lot easier and get better grades. Um, this paragraph will probably get like an S plus. They have really good. This is a really good piece of evidence. Their elaboration is okay. Their topic sentence is okay because it is a word. It's just unclear when you say them. In addition to helping them in school, again the them. Come on, guys, come on, you can do this. In addition to helping them in school, it also greatly benefits them in the future. So frustrating. Um, According to source 2, the importance of language education by S.E. Renata Nelson states, according to Gray, we have to be able to communicate with people whose language is not English if we're going to compete. This evidence shows us, but it doesn't actually, this evidence doesn't work. It doesn't actually show how it helps them or students. It doesn't actually show how. It just says, it doesn't say that. This evidence shows us that many jobs are being more open to wanting people who can talk to others from different countries. If students learn a second language now, it will help prepare them. I understand the argument they're making. It's just confusing. Many people believe that so kind of argument. Many people believe that a bilingual home will cause a delay. A bilingual home? We're not arguing about a home. We're arguing about school. This is not okay. Many people believe that a bilingual home will cause a delay in the child's language. Original language, native language. This is a pretty don't say pretty. This is unacademic. This is a pretty valid point because they will have to be learning two languages, which means learning two of everything like vocabulary and sounding. Nonetheless, this point is misleading since research shows that bilingual children develop a language at the same rate uh, as children who are monolingual. According to source 1, the best time to learn. Although many parents believe that bilingualism results in language delay, research suggests that monolingual and bilingual children meet major so this is the same evidence as this student. Remember, this student had a really solid kind of argument, but they did a much better job. This one did a much better job. This person is doing the same thing. It's just that the way that they wrote it. For example, they said many people believe that bilingual home. We're not talking about the home. Again, the argument is should elementary schools, be teaching a second language? This means that kids who grow up speaking two languages learn to talk just as quickly, as kids who only speak one. In fact, learning a second language can teach kids to be more problem solving. But where did this come from? Where did this come from? You have no evidence for that. Overall, teaching a second language in elementary school is important because it helps students how, and also students how? Because it helps students how? How what? And also helps them learn later in life. Learning another language can make kids do better in their classes and also gives them skills that they can use in their future. Even though some people believe it slows them down, why are you bringing that up again? Why are you talking about that? Evidence shows it actually helps them. If more schools taught second languages, elementary schools, students will have more chances. So this person likely got like an S, because there are some good things about this, right? They do have topic sentences. They have evidence, uh, but there is some organizational issues. This person probably got like a two probably. Um, their grammar, there's no big issues with grammar, but there are some issues with just organization and elaboration. Um, okay, I think this will be the last one. I think, yeah. Imagine having the ability to speak two languages or even three. Nice, I like that one. In order to speak like a bilingual speaker, it's best to start early at a young age. This sounds like a thesis statement. Be careful with that. Some people believe that it can confuse their kids since they think young minds won't be able to process two languages at the same time. However, if they keep on practicing, they will become more proficient over time. But this person didn't introduce the opposite side. Um, somebody, yeah, uh, yeah. This person is straight up just introducing thesis statements in their overview. However, if they keep on practicing, they'll become more proficient over time. Again, this doesn't work because it looks like you are giving us your side already. I don't want your side yet. I don't want your thesis statements. Elementary schools should add a second language program because if not, no. If not, just tell us why. Just tell us why. This is really confusing. Elementary schools should add a second language program because if not, it affects many businesses. It is an important part of a good education. Um, their hook is great. Their overview is like an S minus, and your thesis statement is like an S minus. I'm really disappointed in this. Elementary schools should add a second language program because if not, no. You see how that doesn't make sense? Tell us why. Tell us why. Like, just tell us why. Why should we add a second language? Don't say if we don't add a second language, then this will happen. We don't. You don't convince someone by that, right? You don't convince people if you say if you don't do this, then this will happen. Like that's not how that works. It can affect many businesses. Topic sentence is like an N. According to source 2, it states the issue of foreign language learning is affecting many businesses in the United States. Companies have to use new and different strategies in order to compete with countries like India, which are offering quality products and services at a much lower rate. I'm really confused by this. So they start their source. So according to source 2, it states so their evidence goes from here to here because there's another quote here. I don't know why that's happening. Does it end here? And there's another quote. In a more competitive market where products are increasing in quality, we need to be able to compete in relationship and services. And languages are important factors, said David Gray, former Labor Department acting assistant for policy. This evidence shows that learning a second language in elementary school prepares future workers to communicate with others international partners. If workers know another language, it helps keep customers instead of losing them. So imagine that you're trying to convince a parent. You're convincing a parent that they should support a second language at the elementary school, and you say this to them. The school should add a second language program because if not, it can affect many businesses. Do you think the parent would care? Of course not. They'd be like, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like this student fails at convincing the reader or convincing the school board to add a second language because it's impacting Amazon or Best Buy. Like it just doesn't work. This paragraph does not work. So far, based on paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, this is an N. In addition to harming many businesses, future. So again, you have to understand. What about the kid? We're not trying to convince the school board to add a second language because it's affecting businesses. You have to talk about the kid. How is it impacting them? What's it going to do for them? In addition to harming many businesses' futures, it is essential for a strong education. What is learning a second language? According to Source 4, it states it's been well established by researchers that second language learning improves learning in other areas as well. Okay, this is better evidence. Sometimes the relationship is fairly obvious. Analyzing the grammar of the second language makes you more aware of its language structure and uses in general. That can improve your writing and communications in your native language. But students who learn a second language also tend to perform better and have higher test scores in subjects like math, science, and social studies. In ways we don't fully understand, language learning helps with creativity and problem solving. So this is a much better paragraph, right? I hope this student understands, like, this is what you should have done with this paragraph. Like, talk about what are the benefits for the students, not for businesses. This evidence shows that learning a second language enhances academic performance, such as community. So here they just repeated the evidence. There is no elaboration here. You see how long this evidence is? And look at their elaboration. Your elaboration is always going to be longer than your evidence. Simple as that. Some parents, not some parents, you will say some people, or on the other side. We're not talking about parents here. Some parents may argue that learning two languages can confuse young children because their minds are still developing. That's a fair point. That's a valid concern. However, research shows, why is it a valid concern? This person needs to talk about why is it a valid concern. This is a valid concern. However, research shows that any confusion is temporary. What research? In source 1 it states, a bilingual home. I'm confused here. It says, in source 1 it states, why is there a quote here? Why is there a quote here? A bilingual home environment may cause a temporary delay in onset of both languages. The bilingual child's comprehension of two languages is a normal for a child of the same age. However, and the child usually becomes proficient in both languages before the age of 5. This evidence, why is there two quotes here? I really don't understand what's going on. This evidence shows that while bilingual children might experience a slight delay at first, over time they will become more proficient. This means that the word confusion is weak because the delay is temporary. This elaboration is an end. You're literally not elaborating anything. In conclusion, elementary schools should add a second language program because it strengthens the future of businesses and improves students' education. Learning another language at a young age prepares future workers to communicate. I need to go back and check who the student is and review their essay a little further. This is likely like an S at the highest. It's not an S plus or an M. At the highest, this will be an S because there's serious issues with this essay, and I hope that you guys understand what the issues were. One thing that I suggest you do is when you write an essay, read it out loud to yourself and imagine that someone is listening to it. Does it make sense to them? Obviously, it makes sense to you. That's just the way that writing works. When we write, it makes sense. It just makes sense to you. In your brain, you're like, I understand what I'm saying. But if you read it out loud, imagine that someone is sitting in front of you. Or read it out loud to someone, to a brother, sister, mom, dad. Do they understand it? Now, if they don't speak English, that's a whole different situation. But imagine that someone's there. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Again, you can have an interim after the break. No one should be getting anything under a 7. Like, no one should be getting anything under a 7. We've done so much practice. I truly believe that you'll be able to figure it out and do it. Not figure it out, just get it done because you are very capable of writing. It's just that we need to organize our ideas better. Answer the question, right? Does this topic sentence, does this evidence, does this elaboration make sense for the thesis statements? Remember, you are taking a side and you are trying to convince someone to take your side too, right? If you are writing an essay on should space exploration continue, you need to convince the reader that space exploration should continue. If you're writing an essay on getting rid of gas cars, your evidence and elaboration must talk about the issues with gas cars. For here, for this essay, you should have focused on, should we teach a second language to elementary school students? Should the schools teach these languages, second language to schools, to students, right? And you need to have evidence that supports that, either supports for it or against it. Um, I saw an essay of a student that took both sides. They literally talked about, they said something like, there's benefits of teaching a second language, but there's also problems, and they argue for both sides. You cannot argue for both sides. You have to take one side and stick to it. Now, as you write your essay, maybe your thesis statement, as you write your essay, maybe you realize that you made a mistake and that you can't find enough information or enough evidence to support your thesis. So you might need to change your thesis, and that's okay. Just make sure to stick to your thesis statements. Okay? I need you to get 80% on this. This will be your graded assignments for homework. I will not be able to, I don't know if I'll be able to reset these videos because I'll be out of the country. If you email me, I don't know if I will. I will try to reset them. Most of these questions, I think all of them will be multiple choice questions, so that you can see your score at the end. You're amazing. Keep it up. I believe in you.